Two slips a gully and a short forward square. Congdon now moving Collins, who's away down deep third man. Bring him in some 15 yards to stop the batsman being able to take two. That's Collins away on the left of picture, top left-hand corner. He's come in some 15 yards. There's a good-looking shot. What a fine stroke. The first really authentic drive of the morning. It brings up the 50. And it takes Boycott on now to 25. The 50 came up in 94 minutes in the 24th over.
And that should be it. That's the first wicket down, and Taylor's got it. Amos has gone, caught behind. And it's big Bruce Taylor who's made the initial breakthrough then for New Zealand. We've got two away from 50. Beautifully placed. Good controlled shot there by Boycott. Coming back for the second. And there's the applause for the Yorkshire captain. Moving on to yet another 50 in Test match cricket. So applause not only for Boycott but for the England team as a whole. The 100 coming up. Boycott's 50 and the 100 have taken 157 minutes. And that's the situation. Still a very pleasant day. A few more clouds in the sky than at the start of play, but no danger at all of any interruptions. Half volley. Didn't really get to the pitch of it. Brings him a single off a thick edge down to third man. That must be close. And that's out. Dusty Rhodes, no hesitation at all. Boycott gone. That ball kept a little bit low. Boycott trying to work it on the onside. And it looked absolutely plumb to me. Taylor now has a long spell. This is his 17th successive over from this end. Really got a little bit out of that, put something in it. Bit of bounce again, and Lewis played that extremely well, right behind it. Tony Lewis, who did such a great job for MCC in the winter in India and Pakistan, although one is always up against it a little bit. It's always hard work playing cricket over there. Really takes full marks for the wonderful job he did. And that's it. He's caught behind. It's another wicket for Taylor. Well, poor Tony Lewis. Caught behind for two. He's not had a very happy time since he's been out there. So New Zealand really getting on top now. They've picked up 3 wickets. Amos, Boycott, and now Tony Lewis gone. These 3 have gone for 16 runs. So the 3rd wicket, yet another for Bruce Taylor. He's taken all 3 now.
So he has 3 slips in a gully now, bowling to Fletcher. Fletcher remains on 3, Roop on 6, and 48 overs have gone. Richard Hadley now bowling to Roop. Collins the fieldsman. Collins himself had 2 quite long spells, 16 overs in all in 2 spells. 42 runs, and he's wicketless, but bowled very well early this morning. It's a good-looking shot. And one thing the New Zealanders have to avoid is putting that ball in the driving slot for Roop, because he's halfway there before they let it go. It's very pleasant here in the sunshine. I suppose the scoring rate at the moment might induce one or two of the paying spectators to a touch of slumber. Must be very close, yes indeed. Another ball keeping quite low there to Keith Fletcher. Well bowled by Hadley, but I think Fletcher there may have been a trifle unlucky. That ball kept very low indeed.
Pollard remaining at forward short leg. Collins bowling with a mid-off now. Collins to Gregg. And that's a chance, and it's taken. Tony Gregg gone, caught at second slip by John Parker. Nice diving catch to his right. So a well-deserved wicket there for Richard Collins. Hadley now to Roop. Not quite where he intended, but brings him one run.
Ray? If Ray's up that end at the end of the over.
Beautiful shot there by the England captain. This outfield, in fact, not as quick as I've seen it at Trent Bridge. Most normal occasions that would certainly have gone through for 4, but beautifully timed off the back foot. But Illingworth there having to settle for 2. And very close there. Extremely well judged. And that's bowled him. So Illingworth out, Dale Hadley the bowler. And really a good afternoon this for New Zealand. Bearing in mind 92 without loss England at one stage, and now England have fallen down. They've lost 6 wickets in fairly close succession. And this is the 6th one to go down. England captain beaten there between bat and pad. And that must be close, yes, he's got to go. So the third LBW decision that Dusty Rhodes has upheld at this end. And that ends a fairly long innings from Graham Roop. All three falling in similar style. Good shot. Beautiful on drive. Well, John Snow enjoyed that, played it so easily. It was a half volley, but put away really beautifully by the Sussex quick bowler.
Dale Hadley, the more experienced of the two, was here in 1969. Performed quite creditably on that occasion, and in fact has done so in his fairly short test career. He's played 10 tests, has 30 wickets at an average of 24. Looks to me, Ted, as though he has a little bit more in reserve than his brother. He looks to me as though he could be bowling probably 2, perhaps 3 yards quicker out there, but he's not bothering to do so. He's just landing it on the seam and moving it around a bit.
Right, although in better conditions, I think he could make up into a genuine fast bowler if he used his run-up a little more than he does at the moment.
Richard Hadley down at deep fine leg. New Zealand's fielding has been a bit spasmodic today. It started off very good, very brisk in the field in the first hour or so, and it fell away a bit. The returns from the outfield, not all that good for a time. They've missed nothing in the air. And that's a good delivery. It's the 8th wicket down for 184. Dale Hadley slipping that quicker ball there through John Snow's defence. A good, clever piece of bowling, that, and a good performance by Hadley to have 4 wickets at this stage of the England innings. Still the set-piece field organised by Congdon. 2 slips in the gully. It's been that most of the day, except occasionally where he's taken away one of the slips and put him out of cover to provide 3 men cutting off the single. It's got him well bowled by Taylor, the 4th wicket for this medium pace all-rounder. Arnold the man out, caught by Wadsworth. Bowled Taylor for 1. Four runs, beautifully timed by Knott. Clipped it away over square leg, well away from Congdon. Once again, Dale Hadley straying down the line of those pads. It's been the one criticism of Hadley's bowling today, that he just hasn't kept quite the line that Congdon would have wanted. Quick work there by Wadsworth. And again, down the line of the pads and clipped away. Beautiful stroke by Alan Knott, and it brings up England's 200. And what a good way to bring it up.
So, close of play on the first day. England winning the toss, 216 for 9. The morning belonging very much to Amiss and Boycott, but then the rest of the day has gone very much New Zealand's way.
Was caught by Wadsworth off Taylor for 1. Lovely shot. Beautiful stroke by Alan Knott. Perfectly timed. And the ball skimming away over the grass just in front of the scoreboard. And that establishes a new 10th wicket record for England in test matches against New Zealand. Congdon, in fact, looks as though he's probably trying to bowl little off-spinners. He's also calling umpire Rhodes' attention to the fact that he's going down the line of the leg stump and is, in fact, being asked to keep out a little further. And that's the end of the England innings. Alan Knott playing on. Inside edge, trying to cut, a quicker ball from Bevan Congdon. Dragged it back onto the off stump. And Alan Knott just one short of what would have been a very, very good half-century for England. So the England innings now ends at 250. Alan Knott bowled Congdon 49. Norman Gifford, his highest score in Test cricket, not out 25.
A lot of heavy cloud coming over Trent Bridge, and one wonders with this sort of atmosphere whether it's going to help the England swing bowlers to move it a little bit in the air. There's that one again, cutting back. Doing too much, going to miss leg stump, I rather think. See how much that ball comes back. Going to miss the leg stump, a little high, and could well have got an inside edge. Well played there by Turner. Boycott in the covers, 1 run. And that's surely out. John Parker not even looking to see what the umpire's decision was. Immediately on his way. Well, an unfortunate way to get out. It wasn't a very good ball. Wide down the leg side.
Alan Knott and Norman Gifford resuming at 216 for 9 this morning, and a very useful last wicket partnership, which was, in fact, a new record for the 10th wicket against New Zealand. We'll come back to that. Here's Tony Greig. And he's caught out by Rope. What a scout for Tony Greig. Glenn Turner is gone. Tony Greig, 2 wickets then, both wickets to fall. Roop, in his first test match in England, picking up a nice low catch at second slip.
Brian Hastings, the man coming in at number 4, is a solid player. There's nothing brilliant about him, but he's had plenty of experience in test matches. An ideal man to come in round about number 4. John Snow, who has bowled 6 overs for 2 runs, 4 maidens in that lot. His direction, as Peter West told you, has not been all that good. Bowled 1 or 2 sensational deliveries, but really was trying so hard that his direction and length were a little bit wayward. Arnold the bowler to Hastings. It's out. A good catch, Nat. Now that really was a fine slip catch. Graham Roop brought into this test match here against New Zealand, and that was a good catch. He took a good one to dismiss Turner in the last over bowled by Tony Greig. He looks as though he may have jarred his knee, but that's a small worry for a man who's just taken 2 fine slip catches. Jeff Arnold now, and he's bowling to Mark Burgess. Jeff Arnold, who bowled so well against the Australians last year. Moves the ball both in the air and off the seam, and he's quite a problem for a young player coming in, a player such as Mark Burgess. He's batting at the Radcliffe Road end. Arnold bowling from the Pavilion end. And that's good bowling again. And what a tremendous performance by England in this little session after lunch. 34 for 4 now, New Zealand. That ball leaving the right-hander. It swung late, kept on going, and look at the joy on the face of Alan Knott, who has picked up that catch for Jeff Arnold. 44 for 4 now. Congdon is on 8, Pollard 4, and it's Congdon facing Tony Greig. Boycott. Tony Greig, and it must be close. If he hits the stumps, that must be out. My word, that's a good piece of cricket by Greig. Pollard pushing away on the onside, and Greig coming across very quickly. And Congdon never able to get in, although he was, I think, perhaps impeded on the way down. So now there are 3 slips in a gully and a short forward square. Tony Greig, and he's going to bowl to Ken Wadsworth. Norman Gifford played into the ground, no chance. But quite painful for Gifford. Ball bouncing short there of Mr. Fieldsman. They can't really get much closer. They're very well up. Fletcher, Roop, Dennis Amos, our 3rd slip. They're certainly close enough to the bat to take anything that is a normal slip chance. And what a good piece of bowling that was, and Wadsworth's been given out by umpire Constant. Well, there's a problem here because the batsman doesn't know that he's been given out. And is indicating that it almost cut him in 2. And it's the 6th New Zealand wicket to go down. Lewis again, can't get to that. That's a nicely timed shot by Taylor. Greig just straying round about the pads, and Taylor clipped him away with tremendous power behind square, giving Lewis no chance at deep fine leg.
See Boycott over there now has moved round into a more wide, orthodox mid-off position. For Taylor, he's had to push Dennis Amos into the covers to try and plug that gap that Taylor has been finding fairly consistently since he's been out there. So it's 3 slips of gully, a cover point now under mid-off. And that's it, caught behind. Another one for Alan Knott. And always on with Bruce Taylor, throwing his bat at anything outside the off stump. So a 4th victim for Alan Knott, and a 1st wicket here for John Snow. Bruce Taylor on 19, top scorer, getting a pretty firm edge there. And a very simple catch to the England keeper. 72 now for 7, Pollard 8. Dale Hadley facing, yet to open his account. And he's going to do it. Played back to one pitch, far too much up for him ever to contemplate that shot. So Hadley out for a 0, following Burgess out for naught, and Wadsworth out for naught. Another New Zealand wicket down, the 8th one going down with a total on 72. Another sharp and quick success for John Snow. It's Dale Hadley on his way back now without scoring. So now in his 9th over, figures of 2 for 9, quickly taking the wickets of Taylor and D. Hadley. Three slips and a gully for Richard Hadley. Amos has moved over to cover point now. 2 men on the onside. Getting a pretty useful one first ball. John Snow, who's extremely wayward in his first spell with a new ball, has immediately dropped on a much better length and line. And he's gone. So John Snow going through the Hadleys here like a dose of salts. Well, really nothing to do with the pitch there. It was a ball once again like the one that got his brother a full length. And it's the younger Richard playing all round it. So a big burly man, this, built more like an All Black rugby forward, 6'5" in height, but even so his first movement is in the opposite direction. And he swung that away, lofted it perfectly safe. It's a long chase for Amos, going down towards long on, and it's over the rope now. Well, it's taken the number 11 batsman to produce only the second boundary of this innings. Taylor hit the other one. Beautifully turned off his legs by Collins. Perfectly timed shot, square, Snow chasing it. So another boundary to big Richard Collins, takes him now into double figures. Well, that's it. It's all over. Tony Greig picking up the last wicket. Clean bowling, big Richard Collins. Collins bowled by Tony Greig for 17. New Zealand then just 3 short of the 100 mark.
So it's Geoffrey Boycott to receive, and it's still cloud cover high above, which means that these conditions should continue and batting could be still quite a difficult matter. Collins to Boycott. Bit of a loosener, quite a slow one. Vic Pollard in front of the wicket there at cover point. I don't think that Geoff Boycott was seriously considering about taking a single there, but Dennis Amos certainly had no intention of going. These were the pair, of course, in the first innings who put England well on the way to a good total with an opening partnership of 92. Field, 2 slips, a gully just out of this picture. Bev Congdon round the corner, backward short leg or leg slip. Burgess at short leg. There's Hastings in the gully. Parker and Glenn Turner are the 2 slips, and Wadsworth is the wicketkeeper. Nice looking shot and a misfield there, not in a rough patch either. I don't think it was in an old wicket there for Vic Pollard. So Boycott off the mark. Vic Pollard altogether. Irving Rosenwater will just tell me how long he was in for. He was in for 103 minutes, 1 hour and 3/4, and batted pretty well, certainly stuck it out in these testing conditions. Amos now facing Collinge. Pushing through the vacant mid-off position. Oh, my goodness me! All he's got to do is get it down the other end, and he's run out. Amos has stayed up that end, and it's Boycott now who has gone. Well, there have been occasions in the past when the reverse has applied, when Boycott himself calling for an improbable single or another run has just kept going. But that's a sad start to the English innings.
And that's beautifully bowled by Richard Collinge, the second wicket for New Zealand. Graham Roop had to play at that. It landed round about middle and leg, found the outside edge. A fine piece of bowling by Collinge, and Graham Roop is out for 2. Court Wadsworth bowled Collinge, and England now 8 for 2, having made 250 in their first innings, and New Zealand having replied with 97. Taylor was top scorer in New Zealand's first innings, making 19. That's out, and Taylor has broken through. In fact, good work there by Congdon, bringing Taylor on, and Taylor doing the trick by getting rid of Lewis again. Lewis playing well away from his body outside off stump, and giving Taylor his first success of the England second innings.
Dale Hadley just bowling possibly a little bit too short at this stage. Fletcher on the back foot. Great virtue of all the New Zealand bowling in this match is their accuracy and their straightness. And that's it, inside edge. So the end of Fletcher and England 24 for 4. Shade unlucky, inside edge. Once again beaten by the variable pace and bounce of this wicket. So it's a very lively Greg out there at the moment. Just picking up one more run there. He looks fairly determined he's going to try and get on with it. Anything pitched at all in his half, he's getting his foot well down the wicket, trying to go through with his shot. Beautiful late cut there by Amos. Well on top of it, chopped it away to third man, a single, brings up the 50 for England. So they're in a very happy position, really, with a lead of 153 on the first innings. That's now been made into an overall lead of 203. Fine shot there. That was certainly not a half volley. He hit that in the up as it came through. It was a good length ball he put away for 4 there.
That's the situation then. England 72 for 4 in their second innings at the conclusion of a day where New Zealand had a tremendous chance for victory in this first test match at Trent Bridge. Foiled in the end by Tony Greig. Fine bowling, good fielding, and finishing the day with 33 not out.
Dennis Amiss to receive the first ball of this third morning's play. It's interesting talking about that wind as it's changed completely, which means that Collins for the first time now is going to operate from the pavilion end. And as you've already heard, it's a fairly strong breeze now blowing right across this ground here at Trent Bridge. And it's been used, in fact, by Collins to try and move the ball into the right-handed batsman. That's a half volley there, tucked away by Tony Greig. That's going to bring him his 50, and it's going to bring up the 100 for England. Coming back for the third run. A good hand, and a deserved hand for Tony Greig. He's moved on to 51 now. That makes him joint top scorer in this match. And it's been an innings full of very good shots. This 50 came in only 89 minutes, which is a fair spanking rate in terms of runs being scored in this test match. Oh, and a nasty one. Amiss getting two out of it, but it really could have gone anywhere. Gave him no chance at all. It was a good length ball, and it flew off a good length. Bev Condon slipped in the gully. It's pushed away to third man. Once again, Greig coming back for the second. Great long strides round the wicket, making that partnership into three figures. Well, it's been a very good partnership, this, for England, as that 100th stand came in only 106 minutes, and Tony Greig has been responsible for 66. Last wicket going down there at 24. Now they're total on 125.
Greig just relaxing his concentration there a little bit. .150 on the board for England. Partnership now worth 126. Good running from Amiss. Nice throw from Taylor. And Taylor just a little bit slow to gather the ball in there. Instead of picking up and throwing on the run, he steadied himself. Just gave Amiss that chance to make the extra yard. Now, Wadsworth has been having quite a bit of trouble with Bevan Congdon, who's moving the ball around a bit in the air and off the seam. And he's now gone back some 10 paces to stand back alongside the slip. He has been standing up over the stumps for Congdon. To Dennis Amiss. A very valuable hand it is too. It's taken him 207 minutes. He's hit one boundary. The younger of the Hadley brothers, Richard, and he'll bowl from the Redcliffe Road end. Batsman is Tony Greig. Collins won't get that. That's a good shot. Greig goes to 95. His previous test best innings in England was 62 against Australia at Old Trafford last year. And now he's within 5 of his first Test century in England. Good running. Greg retains the strike. And it's the 150 partnership between Greg and Amos. And it's Bruce Taylor to bowl. That's a great shot. It's his 100. Beautifully timed, and just going to run into the rope down here to give Tony Greig his first century in England. Fine stroke of Bruce Taylor. And what a good innings this has been.
Amos now on 63, been out there for 4 hours. And very little has got past his bat. He just had a couple of awkward deliveries to deal with. Each occasion the ball flying off the handle, but nowhere near any fieldsman. And it's Greig pushing forward practically the whole time. It's been a feature of his play that at every possible opportunity he's attempted to get onto the front foot, and it's paid wonderful dividends for him. Really one of the best innings we've seen in the Test match scene for a good number of years. Coming in 24 for 4. And still there now on 107. Perfectly timed shot there by Greig. Beautifully picked off his toes, out to square leg for 4 more. And it's Tony Greig continuing in the same vein that we saw this morning. His 11th boundary. Collins once more. Beautifully placed shot, this time off the back foot, pitching it short, allowing himself time, going through for 4 more. 200 coming up. And Tony Greig in really superb form. The 200 going up on this new electronic scoreboard here, which shows all the bowlers' figures. Might get him 4 for that. One of the few unintentional shots we've seen from Greig. Well pitched up, looking to belt it through the covers. Not quite timing it, or in fact getting his foot to the pitch of it. And we'll see again this ball striking the inside edge. Squirting it past the off stump. And coming down into the vacant spaces here at long leg in front of the pavilion. So a rare blemish from Tony Greig, but brings him 4 runs, takes him on to 1-2-1. And he's done it again. Well, he's going to convince people shortly this is an intentional shot. He did it off the front foot, and now he did it off a shorter ball off the back foot. Beautiful shot by Amos. One of the best shots we've seen from him all day. Handsome, perfect straight drive. It's getting a big hand, not only for the beauty of the shot itself, but the fact that the 200 partnership has come up now between these two players. Coming together. When the fourth wicket went down at 24, this 200 stand has taken only 191 minutes. And that could be Cleese giving him out. Yes, so Tony Greig out on 139, trying to work one away on the leg side, playing across it. Must have pitched round about middle and leg. A tremendous effort then here from Tony Greig. Really a superb exhibition of free stroke play. Taking the total from 24 to 4, to 234 for 5, partnership of 210. And a crowd which have seen a lot of good batting on this ground over the years, giving a tremendous acclaim to Tony Greig, out for 139. Pollard again. This is his 5th over. Illingworth not yet really settled in out there. A little bit of turn, he's caught him. Good catch there at short leg, that ball turning, stopping and lifting a little bit. So Illingworth out for 3 with a total on 241, caught it short leg off a spinner there from Pollard, which actually gripped and turned. There's no question that this wicket has eased considerably during the 3rd day's play here today. It's just now the occasional ball which is behaving in an extraordinary fashion. We've seen just about half a dozen do that in the first 2 hours this morning. Amiss on the receiving end of 3, which literally stood off a length. And that's in the gully, a chance. So a let off there. It's the New Zealand captain himself. 84 overs gone. Down the wicket, has he caught it? Yes, he's caught him at mid-on, took it fairly casually in the end. Brian Hastings there at mid-on, taking it very casually with his right hand. Probably a little late picking it up. Another wicket for Pollard, not using his feet, going down the wicket, trying to clear mid-on, nobody behind him. And that's clipped away beautifully square. Turner covering a lot of ground quickly on there. And to limit them, I fancy, to 2 runs, take him on to 99. And a word here with bowler and umpire about the ball. Is he going to take the new ball, or is it a little bit damp? There's been a few spots of rain here. It looks as though it's the towel out. He's just drying that ball off a little bit. No heavy rain, but there are a few spots of rain, just dampening the outfield down slightly. Amiss 99, Taylor the bowler. Very nearly got a touch. Great temptation to chop it away there in that vacant gap between slit and gully. And a ball which he might well have got away with. Short, looking for the cut. The shot was certainly on, but not quite getting on top of it. So after battling away for 5 hours and 20 minutes, could have been an unfortunate end on 99. And that's it, through covers, through extra cover, no doubt at all about that. Really been an excellent performance of Dennis Amiss there, jogging away through for the third run, taking them on to 102. It's taken a long time, but it's been an innings of great value to England. 315 minutes, included only 7 boundaries.
And what a lovely shot. Now that really must be just about the shot of the match. A blasting straight drive. By the time Bruce Taylor was halfway through the stride after delivery stride, that ball had whistled past him. That really is Amiss at his very best. 2 glorious strokes. Now, neither ball was a bad one. It was, on each occasion, a ball of full length, and each time just moving in a little bit to the batsman. Absolutely magnificent strokes. 115 now to Dennis Amiss. And again, what a lovely piece of batting. All 3 strokes drives to 3 different segments of the field. First of all, just on the offside of the stumps, then a magnificent drive through extra cover, and then the on drive. Oh, good heavens. One's inclined to run out of superlatives for an over like this, produced by Dennis Amiss, and so far, and Taylor, in fact, has just taken the white handkerchief out of his pocket and has waved it to Dennis Amiss. A nice gesture from a good, enthusiastic cricketer. 16 off the over. Beautiful piece of batting by Dennis Amiss to take him from 107 to 123. That's well bowled by Richard Hadley. It's his first wicket in the test so far. No wickets in the first innings, but here today he's just bowled John Snow to have his first success. So it's up to Arnold now to become the 3rd man in the innings to reach double figures. Greg having made 139, Amiss 138. Must be 4 runs. Very loose delivery from Richard Hadley. A full toss outside leg stump, and Geoff Arnold has become the 3rd batsman of the England innings to reach double figures. England declared their 2nd innings at 325 for 8, leaving New Zealand 479 for victory in this first test match. We join their 2nd innings with a total at 15, and it's John Snow.
Arnold once more. Turner pushing it away to lose at mid-on. A little bit more gardening by the opening batsman. Oh, and that's it. It's Roop again. Fine catch. That ball lifted and moved away, and Turner out again. And not another nail in this New Zealand coffin.
It's 4 runs. First boundary of the innings. And really the first militant stroke of any kind. Jeffrey Arnold bowling to Hastings. That's off the mark. A well-struck boundary. And one of the few bad deliveries Jeff Arnold has bowled, short outside the off stump. And Hastings taking full advantage of it.
Situation here is that New Zealand facing the daunting task of making 479 to win this test match after a declaration by England of 325 for 8. There it is at 26 for 2. And the formidable Glenn Turner is one of those out. Both the openers are gone, Parker and Turner. England really putting on the pressure. John Snow, and a very hard chance to Keith Fletcher, high to his right hand. Batsman was Bev Congdon, the New Zealand captain. John Snow batting very fast. Bev Congdon has made 8. Hastings has made 4. Three slips, a gully, and 3 short legs. And he's got that away. There's no long leg. 4 runs. So both the openers, as I say, already dismissed. Parker was snapped up by Illingworth round the corner off John Snow, a short riser. Illingworth grabbing a sharp catch with his right hand. And Turner got a very, very good ball from Arnold and was well caught by Roop at second slip for 9. Second wicket went down at 16. So there are the details. Snow again to Congdon. 4 more runs. Well, Illingworth can afford to have everybody round the wicket. He doesn't worry about the boundaries.
A close of play score then. New Zealand in their second innings requiring 479 to win. 56 for 2. 56 for 2. Leg by. So that's the half-century partnership for Congdon and Hastings, the first 50 partnership of the match for New Zealand. And that's a beautiful piece of bowling. And yes, it must have been, well, obviously was very close because Hastings been given out. But there's a fine piece of bowling by Jeffrey Arnold. That really did come back very sharply indeed. So Burgess on a pair, greeted with a bouncer from Jeffrey Arnold. In the first innings, Burgess was out, caught at the wicket by Alan Knott off Arnold's bowling. He was one of 4 ducks in the New Zealand first innings. It's 4 runs. Again, not all that far away from Ray Illingworth. So it goes on now to 72 for 3, and Burgess is off the mark. At the boundary, Jeff Boycott, the man just going out of picture, is the sole fieldsman on the offside in front of the wicket. Illingworth able to employ a very attacking field here. It's a good over from Arnold. Fine piece of bowling. That's out. Fletcher. Fletcher is a little premature there, but it was going straight down the line and straight into Fletcher's 2 hands. Didn't have to move an inch. In fact, I don't think his feet moved a fraction. Outside edge now, Congdon, and absolutely straight. And straight from hands to ground. That's his 50. And a good fighting innings as well. Made his 50 in 104 minutes, and it's his 18th half-century in Test cricket. Again, a firmly hit stroke into that untenanted cover area. Boycott, the man chasing again. Just 3 runs to Congdon. It brings up the New Zealanders' 100. 100 for 3. And 6 runs so far from this over from Jeff Arnold, who is bowling his first over of the match from the Radcliffe Road end.
It's a short one again. Pulled away around to long leg. No chance of John Snow cutting that off. So for the second time, he's been hooked away down there by Bev Condon. A little milestone now for Bevan Condon. Moved on to 68, which is his top score in a test match in this country. Although bear in mind, he's made 300s for New Zealand. Oh, good ball. Beauty, and that's the end of him. Moved away. Another wicket for Arnold. Burgess gone. And that one went pretty late. And a vital wicket being picked up here by Jeff Arnold. Fine shot. Used his feet right to the pitch of the ball. Driven firmly through mid-on for 4.
That's it. And a fine innings from Congdon. Boycott is the fieldsman. Coming away out to deep mid-on, and it's Bevan Congdon's 100. He goes on to 101 now. It's his 4th century in Test cricket. It's taken him 218 minutes, and he's hit 13 boundaries. It's his 2nd Test 100 against England. So after 10 overs, Vic Pollard has hit his first boundary. Goes on now to 8. Congdon is 105, 174 for 4. It's a lovely shot. Boycott won't cut that off. It's 4 runs. Nice footwork there by Bevan Congdon. And it's his 14th boundary. That's a fine shot too. And that may well signal the end of Norman Gifford's spell of slow medium pace left arm bowling. Illingworth then comes on to bowl to Bevan Congdon. 4 runs, and Congdon stroking the ball beautifully now. Very powerful round about that cover point area. And it's his 16th boundary.
These two now put on 69 for the 5th wicket. Well, it's nice to see a spin bowler giving the ball a bit of air, and in this situation, Illingworth can afford to flight it and to tempt the batsman a bit to buy his wickets. With all these runs to play with, New Zealand needing 479. Full pitch, and a magnificent stop by Tony Greig. My goodness, is he out? Not out. What a marvellous piece of fielding. I was looking for the ball to run away to the extra cover boundary. Full pitch. Pollard hits it out on the offside. Tony Greig, a really quite dramatic stop. falling over himself and somehow off balance, Pollard having to scamper back. Tony Greig, the sort of cricketer you simply cannot keep out of the action. A sweep. And John Snow will not catch that up. It's 4 runs. Ray Illingworth straying a little bit offline there. And so the 200 coming up in 300 minutes. So this has been a determined fight back by New Zealand. 203 for 4.
That's up and over the top. It's in the air. Is it going to be safe? Lewis is coming round. He's under it, but oh dear. Never got a hand to it. I rather fancy it went through his hands. It's gone for 4. Well, Ray Illingworth not looking terribly happy about that, because this is really what it was after. Tempting Condon. Coming for the big hit. Lofting it over long on. Nicely played square on the leg side by Pollard. 2 runs. Good applause for these two who've now put on exactly 100 runs. Last wicket going down at 130.
And that's a good delivery. They're really bowling well, this pair, since tee, putting everything into it. Jeff Arnold whipping that ball back between Congdon's bat and pad, and the ball kept just a little bit low as well. That's a nasty one again. So still, this pitch causing the batsman many problems.
Bevan Congdon has a chance a good chance too, the way he's batting here, of becoming the highest scorer for New Zealand against England of all time.
Arnold is the fieldsman at deep third man. And that is Congdon's 150. .241 for 4. 28 to Pollard, 150 to Congdon. And Ray Illingworth might just be starting to worry a little bit. He'd like another breakthrough. Give him something like an hour and a quarter, some fresh batsmen before stumps. That's a good shot. That really is a nice, authentic forcing shot through cover point of the back foot. Pollard getting into beautiful position for that and clubbing it away past Boycott's left hand. There was no chance of Boycott cutting that off. But a fine stroke from Vic Pollard. That'll be Pollard's half-century. Warm applause here from the Trent Bridge crowd for a fine innings. Half-century to Pollard, and in addition, it equals the best ever 5th wicket stand by a New Zealand pair in a test match against England. The previous 141 was made by Burgess and Shrimpton at Auckland in 1970-71, so 2 milestones in 1 stroke. That's safe. Well now, I don't know, Ted. I don't think that went over Fletcher's head. I think it sort of went through the level of his hands.
This time off the back foot, a little squarer by Pollard. Plenty of time to come back for the second run. And that second run bringing up the 300 here. Well, it's taken 443 minutes to come up, but really a truly wonderful achievement, this. One eye on the clock now for Bev Condon. He's on 176. And he's just under 15 minutes to see this day out. And it's it. Bowled him. Jeff Arnold's broken this partnership. So when England had just about given up hope of ever getting another wicket, I fancy, they've got the one they wanted most of all. Congdon, bowled by Jeff Arnold, for a really superb 176. I'm quite sure that's the greatest innings that he's played in his career, and he'll have to go a long way yet to beat it. Arnold joining in with the England players. Very nice to see all the England team standing up there applauding Bev Condon off the field. The crowd that here rising from the seats and giving acclaim for this New Zealand batsman. A really superb exhibition by him. 409 minutes he's been out there, including 19 fours, and really made it all worthwhile for New Zealand. Years of age, Ken Wadsworth made useful runs in this sort of cricket. Top score of 78 in test matches. Applause in turn for the Surrey bowler Jeff Arnold, taken his 4th wicket of the innings in his 35th over. Arnold here keeping going right to the end in his 36th over. That's a long spell for a quick bowler. He's really tried hard as he could go all the way along the line on a very placid pitch now.
So a great innings by the New Zealand captain, Bev Condon, of 176. And at 317 for 5 at close of play, the match precariously poised. It could go either way. New Zealand still needing 162 with 5 wickets in hand to write their country right into the Test match history books.
Arnold here keeping going right to the end in his 36th over. That's a long spell for a quick bowler. He's really tried hard as he could go all the way along the line on a very placid pitch now.
So a great innings by the New Zealand captain, Bev Condon, of 176. And at 317 for 5 at close of play, the match precariously poised. It could go either way. New Zealand still needing 162 with 5 wickets in hand to write their country right into the Test match history books.
So Pollard on 81, now facing Arnold. Coming through for a quick single, a landmark there for Vic Pollard. That's his top score in Test cricket. Previous score also against England, another long marathon innings of 81 not out in 1965. See Illingworth tucking the ball in between his first 2 fingers. It's the forefinger which does the spinning for the off spinner, hiding it from us at the moment. It's John John Snow at cover point. John Snow opened up this morning from the far end, but in actual fact never looked particularly dangerous in his 4 overs. It's really tossed in the air. Good stop by Gifford. That would have gone through to the boundary. Struck pretty firmly. Took the sting off it. Allowed Wadsworth a single and brings up 350 for New Zealand. So that's taken 547 minutes. .350 for 5, 90 to Pollard, and 18 to Ken Wadsworth. To take you through now, Richie Bennett.
And that's 4 more. And Ted, you were making the point earlier that the faster bowlers seem to have kept the ball short of a length on or outside the off stump to the batsman for most of the time, instead of keeping it up where they have to come forward at it. He's going, Greg, and he's made it, and it's Pollard's first ever Test century. 100 not out to this plucky New Zealander, who's batted so well for a long time in partnership with his captain, Bev Congdon, and after Congdon's dismissal, taking over the major role in this New Zealand innings. Roop! Oh, what a great attempt! And what disappointment for the Surrey player. That would have been one of the great catches in Test cricket. A wonderful effort by this youngster playing in his first Test match in England. Almost pulled off the catch that could have won the match. Wadsworth flashing outside off stump. What a good shot, 4 runs, beautifully timed. Wadsworth getting on the front foot there to a ball that was short and clubbing it away past Lewis at extra cover. Norman Gifford. Umpire Constant not moving. There's a shout there from Gifford and some of the other fieldsmen. We might have another look at that in a moment. Arnold is the bowler. Wadsworth, he turns it away on the onside. It's Norman Gifford at short backward square. Scooping up the ball and shouting for the catch. It's safe. It's out of Gifford's reach. Boycott is the fieldsman. It's 3 runs to Pollard. And it's the 400 up, with one eye on great achievements by teams batting last, seeking victory. New Zealanders within 2 of a real milestone now. The Australians having got 404 at Leeds in 1948. Roop, it's a good catch. My word, he's a good slip field, this fellow. And words there between Arnold and Wadsworth, a little bit of shouldering there as Wadsworth came off the field. Graham Roop having effected that dismissal And Wadsworth having a look back there at Jeffrey Arnold. Not one of the most pleasant incidents of the match so far. 402 now for 6.
Nicely cut away to third man. Lewis moving round, will cut it off. Two nearer this total. 479 required to win. And that's out. And that's the wicket that they've waited such a very, very long time for. At long last, Dusty Rhodes answering that appeal, and there have been many against Pollard in the favour of Tony Greig. So the end of a marathon innings and a wonderful performance by the all-rounder Vic Pollard. LBW bowled Greig for 116. Possibly the turning point in this wonderful fight back here by New Zealand. The turning point, the departure of Vic Pollard. What a wonderful show it's been. So the 7th wicket now going up on that board with a total on 414 and bringing in Dale Hadley as the next batsman. Arnold now with a new ball, looking to try and achieve this breakthrough. New ball obviously a little bit harder, so every chance there's a little more bounce in it from the pitch. Asking again, he's given him this time. And Taylor not terribly happy about it, looking at the umpire, looking at his feet, looking back at the wicket. But there's nothing you can do in those circumstances. When the umpire's finger goes up, you've got to go.
John Snow. Noticeable now that Tony Greig is getting right off the pitch area. He finished up there some 3 yards off the pitch and out towards cover. That must have been terribly close. Ball almost dragged down onto the top of the bails there by Dale Hadley. Norman Gifford fielding just round the corner there for the right-hander. That's Dale Hadley. Gifford is some 10 yards away from the bat. Oh, what a good try that was. He got to it. It was a chance, but what a great effort from Tony Greig. Got it into his hand, diving away to the right there. This moment they need 40. It's remarkable when you're looking for a total like this, what a psychological boost there is in getting down below a 10. 39 looks so much less than 40. At the moment it's 40 with 2 wickets in hand needed by New Zealand. Dale Hadley is on 14, Richard Hadley 3. Richard Hadley is the left-hander and Tony Greig is the bowler. And it's out. The bail is off, and the batsman is floored. unless there's another miracle to go on top of all the miracles we've seen so far in this match. A tremendous responsibility on young Hadley, and the task looking now to be impossible. It's certainly a marvellous fight by the New Zealand batsmen today and yesterday. It's Jeff Arnold now. Well bowled again. Tony Greig will be the bowler from the Radcliffe Road end. Right-hander, Richard Collins, taking strike. Bowl him, the end of the Test match. England winning by 39 runs, a famous victory, a magnificent Test match, and whilst England have won the match, a lot of the credit for such a great game of cricket must go to New Zealand, who put up an astonishing performance to get to 440 in this second innings. A really remarkable effort by their batsmen, led by the captain, Bevan